Hello, welcome to Mr. Paul's Pantry. I'm Mr. Paul, and if you're a returning visitor, nice to see you back again. If you're new here, a very warm welcome indeed. Now, before we start today's recipe, I have a little announcement because I would like to give a big thank you to my new Patreon and PayPal supporters. They are Maria Gonzalez, Sheila West, Davis Price, Terence Marfleet, Sylvia Stoker and Christine Barnwell. And a big thank you because I do appreciate your support. Every little helps to keep this site going. Now, as another big thank you I'd like to give today, a special thank you to Bill and Lorraine, my very dear friends, who presented me with this for my Christmas present, and I'm really excited with it. I think it's lovely. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Lorraine. Now let's get on with the recipe, because this is something that's ordered very frequently in Chinese restaurants and in Chinese takeaways. In fact, it's one of the top 10 things ordered in Europe. It's chicken and sweet corn soup. Very few ingredients, very easy to make, but very, very tasty. So first of all, the ingredients. So here are the ingredients for the chicken and sweet corn soup. First of all, we've got the chicken. It's a small piece of breast of chicken I've cut into 3 pieces. I'll show you how to cook that in a moment. Now the sweet corn, it normally uses creamed corn. I can't buy creamed corn here anywhere in Spain. I've tried everywhere. I could probably get it if I did a 3-hour round trip to an English shop, but I can't buy it. So what I do is what many people do in restaurants. They buy ordinary sweet corn. This is a tin of Green Giant. You can use any brand you want. Put it in a beaker, and I've used my stick blender to mush it down into creamed corn. That's all creamed corn is. It's nothing different. So we've got the chicken, the sweet corn, we've got 1 egg, we've got a little, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of white pepper. Chinese people, especially in the south of China, nearly always use white pepper, not black. And I've got 500 mils of stock here. Now I'm using chicken stock. You can use fresh if you have it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You can use a carton, which is bought from the shop. It's very nice and good quality these days. Or you can do as I do and use a stock cube, dissolve it and make it up into hot water like that. I've got a little green onion here, spring onion, which I'm going to garnish with. Okay, so those are the ingredients. Very simple. Let's get on with the cooking. Now, quite a lot of Chinese dishes are garnished with spring onion or green onion before it's served. But I'm going to let you into a little secret as to why Chinese takeaways don't do that. I'll tell you a little later in the video. Prepare the green onion. It needs to be very, very thinly. And I have told you in other videos and on my website, if you don't have spring onions, you find them difficult to purchase wherever you are, well, what I do is if I have an onion sprouting in the bag or in my larder, I pop it in a glass so the root's touching the water and it will start to grow green shoots up the top. Cut those off occasionally and use them as a green onion, just like I'm doing here. There we are. Now we come to the chicken. Now the chicken, as I said, is a bit of raw breast of chicken, and I'm just going to cut it into 1, 2, 3 pieces like that. So we're putting the chicken in to the stock. Bring it back to the boil, and that needs to boil for 5 or 6 minutes. depending on how big the pieces of chicken you are. You don't need to use a lot of chicken, of course, to make this soup. Okay, what I'm making here will probably serve 2 to 3 people. Leave that and I'll be back as soon as it's ready. Right, here we've got the chicken. We've cooked the 3 pieces of chicken. Not very much, it'll do 2 to 3 people with this, and I'm going to just shred that up. Give that a good whack before we start. Shred it very finely. We don't need great big lumps in it. There we are. I'm just hitting it like that just to flatten it a little bit because I cut the chunks a little thick, that's all. There we are. So there's the shredded chicken. And we'll get on with the rest of the soup. Right, so now we've put the stock into a larger pan. I've brought it to the boil and we're going to add the chicken at this stage. And then we're going to add the creamed corn. Now I'm going to add the pepper. Remember, there's about 1/8 teaspoon there, but if you like it peppery, then you make it peppery. Now once that comes back to the boil, we're going to slightly thicken that. It's not necessary, but it makes it a lot nicer. I've got here equal quantities of cornflour, cornstarch you might know it as, and water. Make a slurry, like a little slurry, about like single cream. You won't use it all, you can use a little or a lot. I've been in Chinese restaurants where they either haven't thickened it enough, or sometimes you can cut it with a knife, and I don't like that. So it's coming back to the simmer now. So we're going to add some of this cornstarch. Keep it on the move, just drizzle a little in. Until it thickens to your liking. Now that's coming up just to my liking. It's not too thick, not too thin. Bring it up to the boil. Now the next thing we're going to do is add lastly the egg. Here we've got the egg, which I've beaten, and we're going to pour that in gently, stirring all the time. Gently. We don't want to drop it in one lump and then we've got a lump of scrambled egg in the middle. What we want is some nice little strands of it. It's boiling up nicely now. As soon as it comes to the boil like that, we're ready to serve. Now some people like to put some whole sweet corn kernels in there. I don't worry about that, but it's there. It looks very, very nice. I'll just show you and then we'll serve some up. There it is. Cantonese chicken and sweet corn soup. Okay, we'll put some in the dish. And here we are. A nice dish of chicken and sweet corn soup. And I'm going to garnish that with a little green or spring onion. Now I told you earlier I'd let you into a secret about spring onions and Chinese takeaways. Now, lots of Chinese dishes are garnished just like this with a little green onion. It goes on at the very last minute, and that means when you come to eat it, it's raw, it's crunchy, it's tasty, it's very fresh. And the reason Chinese restaurants takeaway, should I say, don't put it on a takeaway when you buy a Chinese takeaway, whether it's soup or something else, they never ever garnish it with spring onion, because the secret is when you put it in the takeaway container and put the lid on, the steam partly cooks the onion, it goes an awful grey colour and smells horrible when you open it at home. So that's why they don't do it. Okay, now I'm going to go enjoy that, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, leave them underneath. I do read them all. And it's Mr. Paul saying bye for now, and I'll see you next time.